yogis. This is the 6th yoga sequence from Bend Over Backwards Yoga. And today, what you'll need to do this practice is either 2 wooden bricks or 2 hardcover books that are a similar depth and sort of foot-sized or larger. You'll also need a belt or a strap, and I've put away my bathrobe strap and traded it in for a 10-foot belt. This might be 2 scarves tied together or 2 fashion belts looped together, but you need something this long. In addition to those props, I have my yoga blanket and rolled up blanket that is fashioned into a bolster and a chair. So we've got lots of props. You can turn this video off or pause it and get the props that you're going to need for today's practice. As I prepare for these practices to share them with you, I follow the same rituals that I would if we were practicing together in the studio. And I notice as I'm preparing and going through these preparatory rituals, how I start to feel the excitement of sharing yoga with you, how I start to feel different. In the early 20th century, Ilya Pavlov discovered that if he rang a bell and fed the dog would associate the ringing of the bell with food or with a reward. And my reward is to be with you. However, it also extends into my thinking about why would we stand on 2 wooden bricks? What would Pavlov have to say about that? You see, there are many, many, many nerve endings at the bottoms of the feet. And the feet and ankles determine, to a great degree, our balance. So when we stand on these 2 wooden bricks, it's having an impact on our balance, and it's sending fresh or new information from the soles of the feet upward into the entire body. Here's how it looks. The bricks are set apart hip distance. That means when we stand on the brick, and be sure you have the heel pad on the brick. If your toes dangle off the end, that's okay. It'll just help the toes to relax. But you're going to stand on the 2 bricks or stand on 2 firm supports. Do you know Iyengar began to work with props? His very first prop, he tells the story, was a rock that he saw out on the street that he used as a weight. So now we're crafting these wooden bricks as we might have chimney bricks. You might have chimney bricks, even better. Step up on the 2 bricks. Spread the skin at the bottom of the feet. Spread it sideways, spread it lengthwise. To get the length, take the toe mounds firmly into the brick and lengthen inner and outer heels back. Do you see how that works? The foot goes long. And then lift from the front of the ankle, lift up through the front of the shin to the knee, and these muscles, the quadriceps muscles, they grip the bone. We take this part of each hand to the top of the buttock and lengthen the top of the buttock down as we lift the mid and lower spine up and away from the buttock and extend into the fingertips. This is mountain pose, Tadasana, done on a brick. From Tadasana, we'll take the arms forward and interlace the fingers right down to the webbing of skin between the fingers, and turning the palms away, the elbows are firm. We raise the arms, Parvatasana, or sometimes called Badangalyasana. Now watch. As you raise the arms, avoid the tendency to push the bottom of the breastbone forward. Instead, shoot the bottom of the breastbone straight down to the navel and lift from the sides of the rib cage into the palms. Spread the palms. Then bring the arms forward, release the interlace, but now change it. So the other index finger comes on top, turn the palms away, raise the arms. Raise the arms from the rib cage, like that, more than the shoulder joints. They raise too, but it's the space between the ribs that has to extend upward. At the same time, The top of the buttock is lengthening downward. The front thighs are firming onto the bone. To release Baddha Angulyasana and Dadasana, release the arms wide and to your sides. Now take the belt that you've crafted from 2 scarves, or maybe you've spliced 2 belts together. Again, using the bricks to liven up the sensations in the feet, to bring freshness and newness to your posture. Spread the feet wide, lengthen the feet, and take your belt, fold it in half, and seesaw the belt into the upper back. Right into the upper back. I'm folding forward, so I get the belt high into the upper back, and then toss the belt over the shoulders. See how the belt now is coming down the back body. Turn it once, like that. And then clasp the tail ends of the belt. Where are you, belt? There it is. And draw the tail ends of the belt down beside you. See that the belt is close to the sides of the neck. Draw it straight down, releasing the shoulders away from the earlobes, and then pull the belt slightly forward. Do you see how the arm is coming forward? To draw the shoulder blades onto the back and to lift the chest. Turning to face you now, you see what this looks like in the front body. I'm stepping onto the bricks, spreading the feet, lengthening the feet, firming the legs, and drawing the belt down. It feels so good on the neck. And then slowly, gently, turn the head to your left. Once the head is turned as best it can, pause there. Breathe into the sides of the neck. Soften and relax those muscles. And turn a little more, if the neck permits. Then turn the head forward. Coming now to the opposite side, turning the head. Pausing when the neck says enough. Breathing into the sides of the neck. Relaxing the muscles there, the muscles of the upper back. Turn the head a little more. And then turn the head forward. If you're carrying tension in the neck or the shoulders, you can just tie your belt on like this. And the belt will remind you, it will Pavlovian your shoulders, it will remind you to release the shoulders away from the ears, to lift and spread the chest as you go about your day. To take the belt now into the next posture. Shrug the belt off, turn it over one shoulder, and I suggest we start with the left shoulder. So belt is coming over the left shoulder. Once more, I'm turning my back to you and stepping onto the bricks, keeping this sense of newness and freshness in the feet and the legs. I extend into the arms and bending the right elbow back. See how the palm faces away from the back body. Then I reach behind with the left hand and draw the elbow in, and my hand slides a little further up. You see how the hand is between the belt and the upper back. Then, what is the left hand doing? Have a look this way. The left hand is turning this way. See how the palm faces away? And the arm is just swinging and swaying in the joint, and momentum is building up, and finally the arm will pitch up and over the shoulder, and this is what it looks like in the back body. The hands are holding the belt. The bottom hand is walking up the belt. The top hand is walking down the belt, and it could happen, oh, there's contact, fingertip to fingertip. This is your first attempt, and this is an excellent start to stretch the right arm back and lift the left elbow up. And then extend into the fingertips to release this powerful stretch in the shoulders. And let's take the belt onto the right shoulder. And sweep the right arm close, the left arm close to the side body, bending the elbow, let the hands slide up the belt. Reach behind. Maybe you clasp the forearm. Maybe you catch the elbow. Whatever you do, be careful and listen to the left shoulder so you're not straining. Then the right arm pitches forward. It's a slow pitch action. and the arm is swinging and swaying in the joint, and finally up and over we go, and oh, it's easier on this side. I can catch the first knuckle and the second knuckle. Because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me if the right arm goes up rather than the right arm behind. Release now, stretch into the fingertips, and let's step off the bricks. Setting the belt to the side and removing the bricks, we take our yoga blanket and place the yoga blanket against the upper back. The blanket is folded about this thickness. I'm going to turn my back to you so you see where it's placed against the upper back. It's against the shoulder blades where the belt jacket was a few moments ago. Then turn your back to the wall like this, and step your feet wide, at least 4 feet, and then press the blanket to the wall. My heels are the same distance from the wall that the blanket is thick. The blanket is this thick, my heels are that far from the wall. I firm the legs, just as you did when you were standing on the bricks. Turn the left heel out, turn the entire right leg in the hip socket, so the knee is in the center line. Stretch your arms. Now keep the blanket with you as you stretch to the side. Don't be in a hurry to take this right hand down, but lengthen the whole right side of the body and then turn the left palm away from the wall. Look up. Look up to catch a glimpse of that left thumb. Stretch the right arm down, lift the left arm up, and look up. Utthita Trikonasana, or triangle pose. Coming up, I bring the blanket with me. I stretch the arms. Now the right knee is bent, and my job here is to release this area, the crease at the top of the legs. Reaching into the arms, lifting and spreading the chest, I turn the head and look down the right arm. Virabhadrasana 2, or the warrior posture. The next posture takes the right forearm to the thigh. See what the left arm does? It sweeps in front and comes across the side of the head, and we look into the elbow crease. Utthita Parsvakonasana. To come up, bring the blanket with you. Turn the feet forward. Oops, I'm losing my blanket. I have to take it out and replace it into the space at the top of the legs, at the top of the upper back, as I turn the right heel out and turn the left leg out. There's my blanket, back in its place. As I stretch to the left, both legs are firm, both feet are wide and long. I'm swinging the blanket with me down this wall and looking up toward the right thumb. Breathe and release into the posture. Lengthen the right and left sides of the rib cage. Then inhale, look forward, come up. If the blanket is swimming around in your back, be patient. It's a useful prop. Placing the blanket again, bend the left knee. See how when we bend that left knee, the knee comes over the ankle joint? I'm pressing back into the blanket to spread the chest, to spread the upper back. And then the head turns and looks down the left arm as the warrior is viewing the challenges that she's facing. To come out of the posture, turn the head forward so the neck is neutral. Straighten the legs, turn the feet forward, and take your blanket out. Setting the blanket to the side, come back to the wooden brick. And place the wooden brick, just one wooden brick now, just in front of the wall. And step with the left foot onto the wooden brick. Here, we're asking the leg to be absolutely vertical. Not this, where the thigh bone bulges into the outer hip, but rather the outer hip gathers into the body. And the inner and outer legs are stretching down to the brick. Then take your hands behind you if balance is an issue. Turn that right thigh out again from inside to outside and stepping across with the right foot. See the foot is facing directly down the inner leg. Now, if you can do a little more, if that foot can come a little higher, turning the right thigh out, step the foot across so you have foot on top of foot. Now, the work here is to take this outer hip into the body. If you need to take one hand behind to the wall, do that for balance, but get these actions. Thigh turning out, outer hip tucking into the body. Chest up and wide, like this. Then, second side, stepping down. Take the right foot onto the brick. Spread the skin at the bottom of the foot, lengthen the foot. And then, taking support from the wall, turn the left thigh out like this. And step across, foot on top of foot. Left thigh turned out. Now see, is it possible to gather the outer right hip in as well? Can you tuck that outer hip into the body and get that action? Lift off the hip, lift off the standing knee. And then turn the foot forward and step down. Now the actions of the arms in tree pose. Bring the fingertips together and the thumb tips together, and then seal the hands together so that all knuckles are touching and all around the perimeter of the palm it's sealed, right hand, left hand. Then keeping the elbows close by, lift the elbows up. Pause when you feel the challenge starts here now, and then lift the elbows again. I'm turning to the side so you see that the palms, the fingertips are pointing toward the spine. Turning back to the front view, elbows go higher and higher as thighs become firm. And then as the fingertips point down to the spine, recognize the challenge of not poking the breastbone forward, but resting the breastbone back into the body. Keeping that breastbone resting into the body, bottom of the breastbone to the navel, extend the arms. Now the palms are joined, the elbows are firming in, the side body is lifting more and more. The thighs are firm, the feet are lengthened and widened. This is the action of Paschimottanasana. Then bending the elbows, bring the palms down and release the palms. Here we're going to the double bolster back bend. So we've got our handy dandy bolster. We set it crosswise across the mat. We take our blanket. Now for some, it's advisable to take what you're using for a wooden brick and to make a brick sandwich. Just sandwiching the brick between the folds of the blanket, because you want to have enough support that this place in the skull, the junction between the neck and the skull, this very special place, the brain stem, part of the central nervous system, is resting on the blanket, not pushing up like this, where the chin is jutting up, but coming in and quiet. To do this, sit in front of your bolster, knees are bent, onto the elbows, push the buttock away, extend the lumbar spine, and then see, can you get that special place? I use my thumbs at the base of the skull and stretch the skull away and rest it wide on the blanket. See how the arms are above the bolster? How much the upper arms have turned from inside to outside? And then the legs extend like this. This back bend is taking the upper back into the body. It's sensitizing us to the feel of the back body. Mr. Iyengar said, we can't see our backs, but we have to feel the back. We have to feel the expression of the back. So as you come onto this posture, feel into the back body. Can you sense the skin in the back body softening and spreading? Can you sense the back of the rib cage lifting up to spread the front of the rib cage? Can you sense the shoulder blades that we pressed with the belt jacket at the beginning of our sequence? Can you sense the shoulder blades pressing into the upper back? And here in the front body, can you sense this whole abdominal region releasing into the body, wide and soft? You can stay in this back bend 3 minutes, enjoying the release of the upper back, the softness of the abdomen, and the quiet spread of the chest. And when you're ready to come out, bend the knees one by one. Shift your body a little to the left side and turn on to your right side. Push the bolster out from under you. Rest your head on the upper arm. Draw your knees up towards your chest. And from this side lying position, press the top hand down. Now the bottom hand comes down. We walk the hands toward us and we come up. After back bends, we do twists to reset the spine. We're going to use our chair for the twist today. Typically, we sit towards the front edge of the chair seat. So I'll be sitting out on this edge of the chair seat. I've set the bricks to the side. I've set my bolster and blanket to the side and the belt. I'm just sitting like this with the knee joints over the ankle joints, and once more spreading the skin of the feet, lengthening the feet. That's part of the base of the pose. I want to feel the feet pressing down and the sits bones. Taking the hand to the flesh of the buttock, we tug it back on both sides so that we can feel the ischial tuberosities, the pelvic bones, pressing into the chair. From here, I lift the spine and separate the feet just a little more. And so as I slide the thumbs into the hip flexors, lifting the chest and coming forward, sits bones are pressing down evenly. Then wedge the right elbow inside the right knee, the right palm inside the left knee, and sweep the left hand back and catch something of the chair behind you. Pause. Typically, because I'm turning to the left, the right sit bone right now is very heavy and I'm light on the left sit bone. So I have to bring the abdominals to the left and anchor that left sit bone. Now I'm balanced on the feet and on the sit bones. To begin, I breathe in and stretch from tailbone to crown. And when I breathe out, I turn the navel even more to the left. Breathing in, I stretch from tailbone to crown. Breathing out, I turn the rib cage. Watch the weight on the sit bones. I feel that I'm falling into the right sit bone. I have to balance again and stretch and turn the upper chest and the head. This is a modification of Pasasana, the noose. Turning downward now, so the neck is neutral. I inhale my way up and switch sides. Thumbs into the crease, chest up and forward, elbow and forearm wedged between the inner knees, right hand sweeps back. Balance the weight on the sits bones. Because I'm turning to the right, left sit bone is heavy. I have to balance onto the right sit bone. Inhaling from tailbone to crown, exhaling, the abdomen turns to the right. Again, inhaling and lengthening from tailbone to crown, I turn the mid-rib cage. Each inhalation is extension. Each exhalation is rotation. Pausing once I come into the fullest expression of this pose today. And then looking down, neutralizing the neck, I inhale and come up. And heel and toe the feet just a little bit wider than the chair. Again, the thumbs into the hip crease, lifting the chest up, stretching the chest up and forward. any amount up and forward. Sit bones pressing down and the top of the buttock lengthening toward the chair. This stretch of the upper buttock to the sit bones enables the quadratus lumborum that connects rib cage and pelvis to stretch that way. Sit bones this way, top of the buttock this way, quadratus lumborum goes toward the upper back. And then let the hands come to the floor. If they don't come to the floor, you could use your wooden bricks or the facsimile of the wooden bricks and walk the bricks away from you, like that. Or you could say, no, I'm going to use fingertips and I'm walking the fingertips away like that. Then walk the hands back and clasp some part of the chair. If your chair doesn't allow you to clasp the legs of the chair, you can take your belt like this and walk your hands back along the belt inside the knees as close as you can to the chair legs. Pull with the belt, round the upper back, and look under your chair. This stretch into the upper back allows the shoulder blade region that we've been working with today to spread wide. I'm squeezing my shoulders out into the inner knees, and I'm pressing the inner knees against the shoulders. Knees out, shoulders in, chest coiling over the chair, and then right hand to right thigh, left hand to left thigh, pushing down, I inhale and come up and pause. Hi, yogis. At the end of every yoga class, we take a very special pose called Shavasana. It's a relaxation pose, and it's the very beginning of a practice called Pratyahara, or withdrawing the sense organs into the body. In today's practice, we're going to use both our blankets. So we'll undo the bolster fold of the blanket and set our little tie aside and keep the blanket for the back body. So I'm shaking out the blanket so any lumps or bumps disappear, and folding the blanket now so that it's this depth. Now, if you find that this much fold is too much for your back, if it's uncomfortable, then undo it one fold so that you have something less thick or less dense. You want to feel the blanket, but not to be distracted by discomfort. And you see, because you're a yoga practitioner, you're discerning the difference between distraction caused by discomfort and something that feels unfamiliar, but is not necessarily uncomfortable. So you have to discern now. You have to be sensitized by this practice to know what's suitable for your back body. Unfolding the blanket again, like this. And then this blanket is going to support the head. And as I said earlier, you really want to support this area where the skull and the neck meet, the brain stem, the central nervous system, the place where our reptilian brain, our old brain stem, and the spinal cord meet. This blanket comes above the folded blanket, and we set ourselves into Shavasana. The blanket is going to come at the back of the breath diaphragm. I'm going to show you by turning my back to you exactly where that is. When I'm laying down on this blanket, it's coming above the waist. Here's the waist. It's coming above the waist and below the shoulder blades into that area. So place your blanket against the wall for the head, for the neck. Place the folded blanket where it's going to come across the back of the breath diaphragm, and then sit in front of it. Sitting in front of the blanket with your knees bent, Carefully now, use your hands if you need to. Find the floating ribs and set the floating ribs onto the folded blanket. There we are. Then stretch the spine away and pull the second blanket in behind the head. Use your thumbs, tilt the skull. Then stretch the legs away one by one. You can remove your glasses to rest the bridge of the nose and the skin behind the ears. And then extend the arms. I haven't got them on the floor quite yet. I'm stretching from shoulder blades to palms. My chest is lifted a little away from the floor. And then the elbows drop into the floor and the forearms lengthen away. I sense that the legs have drifted off to the left. I adjust right leg a little to the right and then let the legs turn out. The eyes close. In Shavasana, it takes a while to settle the body in. First, we feel the placement of the body to see if there are any discrepancies between what's happening with the right arm and the left arm. I sense that the upper arms have turned out so much that the back of the hands are touching the floor toward the thumb side. And then the hands soften completely, the fingers relax. The arms are sufficiently away from the sides of the rib cage that they are receptive to breath. The upper back is resting toward the floor, and I can sense the upper edges of the shoulder blades dropping into the floor. The back of the breath diaphragm is lifted by the folded blanket beneath. The buttock is lengthening toward the back of the knees. Abdomen is quiet and deep into the body. Legs are beginning to release their instinct to move. Gita Iyengar has commented on the deep imprints that humans have to walk, to move. We've been doing it for millions of years. And this deep instinct has to be settled in Shavasana. And then we become a little more sensitized. The limbs are released, the arms are released, the spine is released toward the floor. Now the skin over the face. We let go of all expression, feeling the skin softening over the bones of the cheeks, feeling the very light touch of upper lip to lower lip. Feeling the eyelids dropping over the eyeballs. The eyebrows softly relaxing wide. The skin over the temples, light, soft. The forehead smooth and broad. The inner mouth spacious as the tongue relaxes toward the lower jaw. The linings of the throat soften. In Shavasana, we observe the body releasing into this calm, still state. And as the body releases, we observe how the mind follows. For the mind and the body are one. We can sense the area around the heart relaxing wide. We can sense the muscles between the rib cage loosening and relaxing. And from Shavasana and remaining exactly in this position, we turn our attention toward the breath. Feeling the approach of the breath toward the nostrils. The touch of the breath of the fine hair-like linings to the nostrils. How the breath moves up the outer borders of the nostrils as it comes in. We can feel it churning through the sinus cavities behind the bones of the face and between the eyebrows. And then we feel the breath swelling the inner body. In previous sequences, we've placed the hands onto the floating ribs like this, just to feel the movement of the breath on the rib cage. We sense that not only is the breath moving in the low ribs, but that some of the breath is not only spreading, but also lifting rib by rib up the inner linings of the rib cage. And we turn our attention to that lift of the breath. Up to what rib does it lift? Watch for that. And as the breath spreads and lifts, the very definition of pranayama, ayama, means to spread. The life energy spreading inside us. This precious oxygen coming from the plant world around us. And the carbon dioxide that we're exhaling, necessary for the plant world. We're breathing the world. And the world is breathing us. We're not alone. We're part of a very big mystery. And then in previous sequences, we folded the fingers and we tested to see, is the breath moving in the sides of the rib cage, below the breast, let's say. And perhaps there's a little less movement there, but still a flutter of breath. And we're watching keenly to see, does it come into the right and the left sides? Does it seem one side is more full or filling faster? We're watching to see our most intimate rhythm of breath, known only to us. And as we watch, the breath becomes quieter, slower. And so then we slip into releasing the arms wide and now directing the breath from the back body where you feel the blanket behind you, wrapping that breath right through the core body to the front, breathing from back to front. Feeling the skin of the front body receiving the breath and spreading, ayama, spreading. And not only spreading, but lifting from the sides of the navel upward. The breath wide and tall. Organized along the center channel of the body, upward and outward. In sequence number 5, we began to control the length of the breath and a moment of pause between the inhalations and exhalations. We practiced like this. We inhaled during a silent count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We held that breath for 2. 1, 2. We exhaled for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We held that exhalation for 2. 1, 2. And then we took 2 or 3 normal everyday breaths. Just recovery breaths. If breathing in for 4 and out for 4 is too much, then try 3 or 2. And if you're breathing into 2 or 3, just hold for 1 second. Breathe out. Hold for 1 second. In other words, you have to determine what you can do without a hint of strain in the breath or the body or the mind. So try, see what's available to you. And then, when your pranayama session is complete, the mind is quiet, those restless fluctuations have become a little more still, then let the hands rest onto the front body. Bend the knees one by one. Shift your body a little to the left on your mat. Slide the right hand under the skull. Come on to the side body. Pause here. And then top hand pushes down, bottom hand finds the floor. We'll walk the hands back toward us. And then we sit. Maybe you want to sit on the blanket. And then we fold the legs. Or sit with straight legs if folded legs is uncomfortable for you and you're not quite there yet to sit with folded legs. No problem. It will come with practice. Press the hands into the thighs, lift the chest. And then close the eyes just for a moment. And feel the state of mind. Even though we work with the body, yoga is meant to condition the mind for the deepest exploration of who we are in meditation. Calm body, quiet mind. Then gather the palms together and bring the palms right in against the heart and stretch the fingers away from you. This is an offering. This is a giving of any benefits that the yoga practice may have accrued. Then bow. I'm bowing to my teachers. And bowing to the students who have taught me more than these words can say. I'm bowing to Mr. Iyengar and to the Iyengar family who have developed this method of yoga that is a complete method for mind, body, and spirit. And I bow to my son, Shane Murphy, who has been so generous with his time to help me produce these videos for you. I bow to you, yogis. Thank you for your generous offers of support to the studio so that we have that precious space to come back to. I never thought that I'd be quoting Queen Elizabeth, but I am now when I say, we'll meet again. Namaste.